Welcome to Pneumonia Podcast, Inspirational series. Today we have Brandon Kahn in the studio.
What's up?
And we also do have a very special guest. Her name is Elyse Haun.
Hello.
So you're making a podcast, and what's the name of it?
It's called EncounterE.
Okay, EncounterE.
Right.
Okay.
With
why
an E?
Why E? Why EncounterE?
Because that's my name. It starts with an E.
E is your name?
It starts with an E, and it's about basically encountering kind of what I'm going to be doing. So.
Okay. So her podcast is going to be kind of more of an inspirational podcast, which is why I want to start off this inspirational series with her talking about her podcast. What will your podcast basically be about?
Basically, it's going to be about goals and completing them. Okay. So about every week or every other week, I haven't decided yet. I'm going to be making a goal or having someone submit a goal, and then I'm going to complete that and share how it went. And it's a video podcast, so
okay.
There'll be photos or a video of whatever I was doing.
Okay.
So that's the basics of it.
Awesome.
And then there's also going to be like habits to quit, ways to do something. And then I'm going to describe like the changes and capture the details. But I'm kind of,
awesome.
My goal is to make it kind of outrageous, appropriate, but outrageous.
Why appropriate? Why not make it inappropriate?
Because it's a video. That's why. But my goal is to make it interesting, something inspiring, so that other people can.
So, do you have like plans for your first episode here? Any goals for it?
I am kind of in debate, honestly, because I have different topics as far as like I kind of want to get into, like I said, making goals, whether it be flying on an airplane or something simple to anything like jumping out of a plane instead of riding one. Jumping out of a plane. But I also have like sociological experiments I kind of want to do, as well as like giving, for instance. This is just like an example. Tent City, we all kind of have heard of it in like Worcester, and possibly have like an encounter and not just like a news related story like who has whose land and all that jazz, but meet with them and talk with them, and that's kind of
interesting. That actually sounds really cool.
Yeah. So I have a whole bunch of different things that I want to do, and I have yet to kind of decide which one I'm going to start on, which is why I haven't yet.
Okay. I mean, I guess you could always just go ahead and do something and just go with the flow, and then figure out what is the first podcast from there.
Right. The first podcast will probably be an introductory.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
To the podcast, to the rest of it, and just kind of going over like my different things that I want to do. Kind of go more in detail.
So, and your podcast, is it going to be like, are the listeners or watchers or whatever, are they going to come in and ask you to do stuff like?
I'll probably have them email me.
Okay.
Eventually, I might get to where I interview somebody. I do have a section for that as well. Like, I kind of want to find out people's views in life as far as people we look up to, whether it be, like, pastors or military personnel.
Definitely.
But everyone kind of hears a story of how people got to where they were, blah, blah, blah. And they never heard, like, where they were at.
Okay.
And, like, I want to know that pastor's struggle. Like, I want to know his problem, basically. But I mean,
why are you a pastor?
But like everyone,
I need to know.
But no matter like who the person is, everyone's had issues in their life, and
definitely, yeah.
That's mainly what kind of gave me this idea, and then it kind of just went off from there. So
okay, what are some of your biggest fears that you have? That you might be covering in the podcast, hopefully.
That'll be covering in the podcast.
Let's put it this way. What are your biggest fears?
I hate spiders.
Okay. So, you do a podcast of trying to confront spiders.
That could be interesting.
Like holding a tarantula or something.
That could be possible. I've actually not thought of that. But yeah, that is EncounterE is kind of like facing fears, conquering goals, and inspiring the ordinary.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
that's kind of my tagline there. So I mean, yeah, if someone, I don't know if that would be my first one, but if someone would suggest,
that you should do the tarantula.
Well, do you know
maybe
anyone
go into
who
like a
has one?
museum or something and. Oh, Seth used to have one, but not anymore. I don't know what happened to it. I think he had a tarantula. No, he had a scorpion.
Yeah.
So what about snakes or something like that?
I like snakes, and I've
You
touched,
like snakes?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with snakes.
Interesting. Interesting. So you could definitely do a podcast on tarantula or just any spider. You could hold a venomous spider.
That could be part of it. Yeah.
They do some pretty crazy stuff. Like they can take there's some snakes and whatnot that they take the venom sacs out of or whatever, and then you can hold them and yeah, I know. And there's even people have skunks as pets. Did you know that?
Yes.
Yeah, they take the
That's horrifying.
They take the sacs out, and yeah, it's interesting. I actually would thought about owning a pet skunk. That would be
maybe that could be one of my ideas got from you.
There you go. Oh man. So how do you hope this would affect your listeners?
Well, I want to inspire
watchers.
people, but I also want to make it amusing and funny, and kind of, like I said, an inspiration for someone to go try something they've never tried before, but also kind of see different perspectives as far as different things that we deal with today.
Definitely.
So.
Yeah. Do you have more to add on that?
Well, I was just going to say that, for an example, one of my sections of topics I have is like race and sexual orientation, which today is still a big deal.
Oh yeah.
And
definitely.
I mean, a lot of people talk about it. We have a lot of people that, it's all over the news. What's going on with this?
Definitely.
And I kind of want to shed some light in a different way. For instance, whether I have a black man go ask for $10 from a stranger, right? And then have a white person go ask for that. And it's more showing like how we respond. It's not just like, oh, well, this exists, but it's actually visually showing that this still exists. And that can go the same way with gays or lesbians.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
So I kind of want to use, I'm not sure exactly how I would use the sexual orientation or sexual preference. How I would do that
maybe make them flamboyant and I don't know. Like, is that what you're saying? Like,
I'm not sure how I would use that. I'm not saying
you could send them into like a cake shop and ask them to if they can do a cake for them or something.
A wedding cake or something.
Yeah.
That would be really good.
Like Ohio, like a conservative town or something.
Millersburg.
Yeah, exactly. Like the Millersburg Walmart.
And I can just be spying on them with my camera.
You could go to all kinds of places around here. You can go to Amish places and stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
and I feel like especially because of our area, that's a big deal.
This is a place, especially for like African Americans or whatever like that. The Amish really look at black people as really weirdly, like
actually
they still use the N-word for them. Like, did you
God.
know that?
No.
Yeah, Amish people still use the N-word for black people.
See, my boyfriend's African American, and he actually came down here, and he was like, "Why are they like all these girls?" Just when he walked in the room, they just looked at him, and they were like smiling and laughing, and I'm not sure if that was because he's. It really
more than
attractive,
likely,
or if it was because he was black.
It was probably because he was black. Because just I actually my girlfriend, she's actually ex-Amish, and she has. We're actually gonna do an ex-Amish podcast on. And
that will be interesting.
It's gonna be very interesting. I've had so many talks with them, and it's crazy what some of the things they believe are. But yeah, Brandon, do you have anything to add on the whole flamboyant gay kind of thing that she's talking about? That
I think.
Do you have any ideas on that? Like how could she express that?
How different areas express their views. Like you could have people making out in public, like two guys or two girls making out in public.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, and then you could have like a straight couple making out in public, and then see what the difference is between that. Yeah,
and I mean everyone, like I said, everyone around here is aware of it, and people either agree with it or they don't agree with it, or they're kind of in the middle where they may not agree with it. Like me, I don't know exactly where I stand on that. Like, according to my beliefs, like, you know, that's not supposed to. But I'm, like, I have friends who are gay. Like, I support them. I love them. You know, it's happening all over. Might as well happen everywhere. I mean, you know. So it's just kind of one of those things that, I don't know. I guess it depends on your view and stuff. So it would be nice to just display, like, exactly, you know, instead of just, you know. We have a lot of narrow-minded people.
Yeah, very, very much. Like, it could even probably putting their arm around them. Around here, like, if two men, like, would put their arm around and you could tell that they were, like, a couple, they probably... In fact, this surprised me. I went to Dollar General, and there was this guy totally talking about how he was... his fiancé... would forget to bring his credit card, and it just blew me away that was in Holmes County. But get this, this is how, like, I just totally skipped the fact that he said his fiance is like, it's just like he kept using he, and I totally did not even credit that. I didn't realize he said that. That's not what made me find out that he was gay. This is the terrible part. He had 69 tattooed on his wrist, and that's how I figured out he was gay.
Oh my!
You're horrible.
Like, I'm like, this guy has to be gay.
We'll have to talk about this later.
But yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't realize.
And it's more so to, like, get the person's like how they also feel as well, because I mean,
definitely.
We hear, I mean, like I said, I have friends who've, you know, felt that from, like, maybe their parents or someone close to, but I've never really gotten the perspective, like, from just complete strangers and how that made them feel. And I actually, like I said, I have several gay friends, girl and guys, so it would be even interesting to interview them and just kind of find out more, like, how they actually feel and what has made them feel the way they feel.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so so what is your ultimate goal of the show?
Like I said, to inspire, kind of put myself out there, because there's going to be probably certain things that, like, I wouldn't have done otherwise. And it's also completing a goal for me in starting a podcast. So there's that. And like I said, inspiring the viewers.
Definitely,
and the listeners.
So basically, you're trying to say that you hope it gets people to do stuff more, and even you yourself, to help you do more stuff that you wouldn't typically do. Maybe get out of your comfort zone. Basically, exactly what the podcast is insinuating.
Yeah.
So,
and try new things and understand just how our world works in a different perspective.
So do you think, Brandon, that her podcast is going to affect people? And how you think it's going to affect people? Do you think?
Well, I think if you show, like, yourself doing it, then it's going to get people to want to do what you're doing. So if you set, like, that example, like, hey, I'm doing it, like, you can do it too, you're going to get people who are going to, like, set goals for themselves and complete them.
So it could be, like, revolutionary. Especially to our area.
That would be wonderful.
That would be totally wonderful if we could do that. Who do you think will be your main listeners or watchers or whatever? Who do you think will it trigger?
I think everyone to a certain level kind of depends on, honestly, which episode. Because there's going to be some things like I have like the how-tos or whatever. Like,
okay,
it's going to be kind of like a myth buster. Like, using teeth whitener, for instance. It's going to be like it's very kind of all over the place. And that's why I haven't.
That's kind of cool, though.
But that's an example. I mean, so if you're into health and if you're interested in something like that, but it's probably going to be more so as far as the views go, as far as the social psychology of everything. It'd probably be for like our age in their 20s and 30s. Definitely. But my goal is to get everyone.
That would be awesome.
Everyone who
basically
strike an interest. And that's kind of why I have such a variety of topics, is because I want to do so much, and because I want to have a lot of viewers and a lot of people interested in
So, like, another example of what you probably will be doing on your show is, like, you said it would be kind of like Mythbusters, only it would be more of like a social experiment.
Right.
So,
exactly.
So basically, let's say the myth is that this area is bigoted and whatnot. You do those experiments specifically in that place or something.
Exactly.
Okay. So, that does totally make sense. We'll take a quick break right there, and we'll be back. You are listening to Eudaimonia Podcast. If you like the songs in the background, please check out Autumn Burning on Facebook, Spotify, or you can buy their album on iTunes.
For my mistakes, I never meant to hurt your feelings. But now yesterday's gone, and I'm still running from today. Now yesterday's gone, but I still have all this pain. Yesterday's gone, so gone. Our feelings, they fade away after every breath that I take.
Welcome back to Eudaimonia Podcast. So, another question I have for you is, what made you decide to do this?
Honestly, it was the kind of how-to at first, which is kind of random because I ended up totally going off of that.
I know that you don't want to talk too much about, give away too many of your ideas, but explain a little bit of what this how-to is. Like, what is that about?
Well, it could be from I wasn't really thinking crafts or anything like that. Nothing like, oh, here's how to sew a pillow. Step one. No, no one wants to know that. And if you're from this area, you probably already know how to sew.
This white bitch don't know what she talking about. I don't know why it's a black Amish lady, but
Exist?
not sure.
But what I mean by how to is, like, for instance, I'm hoping to stop smoking cigarettes.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
So that's kind of like, I'm going to try different methods.
Like the
I'm
e-cigarette
basically
or something
being
like
my
that.
own experiment, right? And then, like, another thing was, like, giving up chocolate for 2 weeks, which, if anyone knows me, I love chocolate. I eat it every single day. Seriously.
Okay.
So, and that's more so the how-to that I'm talking about. Once again, it's kind of like experimenting on myself and finding like the best way to do something. So maybe I'll be like, okay, well, in this podcast, I'm gonna share how I quit eating chocolate for 2 weeks, and maybe like take a photo of like maybe my face, because if you're a female, like sometimes like you get blemishes because you eat so much chocolate. And so it'll be from like that to and this is the best way I found to do this, That's just an example. That's kind of a poor example.
Yeah.
I mean, quitting smoking would have been a better example to give you. Like, as far as, like, I found out that quitting cold turkey was the best solution for me, or, you know, and this is how, yeah. So that's kind of.
So, how are you going to, like, is cold turkey going to be the last or one of the first things that you would do? Because, like,
obviously you can't quit cold turkey.
Yeah.
When you keep trying.
Yeah, exactly.
So it would I mean, I'm talking instead of like, okay, well, I took it from having 5 a day to 2 a day. If on like the third day I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna, like, I would still consider that cold turkey because I've been smoking for like 7 years. Okay. So I mean, just to cut it off within like a few days, you know, that's
kind of hard to do.
Yeah, exactly.
How are you gonna change it up? Are you gonna just do different podcasts?
Yeah, it's gonna be really it's not gonna be. I'm not gonna have like, okay, this is the section of this, because I feel I want it to be kind of a surprise every week. Yeah, like I don't want it to be something that everyone's gonna know like what's gonna happen. So I don't know. Like if I'm like, okay, well next week we're gonna have this, then I don't know. I want people to tune in to hear and I don't know.
Yeah. So basically,
it's gonna be a surprise. Yeah, every single time.
Yeah,
and I mean maybe like I'll review from like last week. Like, hey, last week we talked about this. Today we're totally talking about something completely different. We're doing something completely different. But
so, like something like the stopping cigarettes, that sounds like something that could take quite a bit of time. Would you do multiple segments of that?
Yeah,
or
probably.
Okay.
And I even thought too, while like if I would post something about smoking, like, okay, well this is what I'm going to do. It'd be more so this is what I'm gonna do, this is how it's going, and then this is the end, and then I would basically crunch that all together into one episode. Okay. So that people could see everything in the one episode, and maybe like beforehand I'd give someone a heads up, like this is what I'm trying. But I don't want it to go too long. Like I said, like every week or two, I would be doing that while doing something else. Okay. Right.
Okay, that makes sense. See, and that's what I was concerned kind of about.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing. So, I was thinking about that. So,
so since that's pretty much all the questions that I could think of in this in this stupid time that I had, tell me a little bit about you and anything else you would like to add in the podcast about yours. Just tell me a little bit about it.
Okay. Well, my goal is to conquer the struggles. Mm-hmm. I kind of mentioned that with the whole conquering fear, facing fears. Mm-hmm. So that should be new. And it makes me very vulnerable. And so that's something I'm kind of nervous about, to be honest. And even telling you that is a little putting myself kind of out there. But that's what, I don't know. That's what people are interested in, is if you put yourself out there, then it's like, whoa.
Yeah. So. How do you think of
I totally zoned out there for like 5 minutes.
See, this is why I debated about having you do this podcast or not. Is because I'm like, will he find it interesting?
Do you have any questions for me?
I was like looking out the window watching the cars go by. I'm like.
So what are some questions that you could think of that you could ask, like
off the top?
Off the top. I should have told you like well before it. So
yeah, it's so I could think.
Thanks me.
Yeah.
So you get the point, right?
How are you gonna get people to watch your channel? Like, you're just gonna.
I'm gonna use YouTube. I'm gonna have a YouTube channel. I'm gonna have a Facebook profile, and on top of that, I'll probably have my own website eventually. Because getting everybody to respond. Also, because that's another thing we didn't really talk too much about, is when I make it, like doing a goal or whatever, I want other people to be involved, and it's just an easier way to kind of see what my video podcast is about, have a website versus just like a YouTube channel. And then that way it makes it easier for them to submit ideas and stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
That's actually the part I'm really, really excited about, is to see if viewers will
and
actually submit and what they will be.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like you said, the spider thing
Yeah,
earlier.
exactly.
So, I mean, and that's like a good. I mean, I don't really want to do that, honestly.
but you have to.
But now that you said it, but I mean, you know, it would just be really cool.
You didn't get the memo that this is turning into a communist country, so now you have to do that.
Why?
We're the dictators of this.
So.
Yeah, but I think you could easily, for a show like that, I think you could definitely easily get enough requests to do stuff, because that's something that all you need is like one person to say something, and then that's a whole entire podcast that you can do.
And that, I feel like that's something new too. I've not really, because I did some research, because I wanted something unique. I didn't want just like a normal like video podcast where people just go try stuff and you see them mess up and you see them trip and fall and possibly die. I didn't want anything like just typical and ordinary. I wanted something that was the opposite of ordinary. So, that's kind of another reason why I came up with that idea. Because I was like, dude, this would be so cool if I could just, I don't know, have people involved too. So
yeah, definitely.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. I think that podcast could definitely go far.
Yeah.
It's just really, like you said, it is very unique. I mean, I've seen some YouTubes where there are people doing some kind of experiments, but not into the detail that you're going to take it in. So that's actually, I think that could actually be a good thing for anybody to watch, because, and that's another reason why I really wanted to interview you, is because like it's something that anybody could watch. Anyone.
Right, exactly. And no matter what your beliefs, I'm going to try to make it unbiased, which is hard.
Yeah,
because even your podcast, you know, it's kind of swayed to one way.
Oh yeah, definitely.
As far as, I mean, it is an opinionated podcast, so I mean that's what it is.
Yeah,
and that's totally fine. But, that's another thing, is I'm gonna try to make it something everyone's can accept and everyone can watch, and that's something unbiased. So.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's really hard to get something unbiased, because like you just have thoughts, and that's just how it goes. So, and that's actually the majority of the reason why I am doing the podcast that I do, because I would like to hear everybody's opinion and try to get my knowledge from everybody's knowledge, because there's like Bill and I think it was Bill and I said every single person that you talk to knows something that you don't know. Every last person. So even the stupidest person in the world, like Ken Ham, knows something, actually, probably something a little brilliant in their head. So I like to try to diversify my knowledge. And
exactly. And that's kind of what my podcast is about too, in a certain way. When it comes to like the social, the social psychology of it.
Definitely.
I can't talk. So, because that'll actually have like beliefs and religion involved with that too. So.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you could you could even have. I know it's like almost impossible to find somebody that's Muslim around here, because I do want to put somebody that's Muslim on this show sometime, but you're not going to find it in Holmes County.
And if so, they're hiding.
It's because they're downstairs planning to blow this house up.
No, that's stereotyping.
That's not what you're supposed to do.
Oh, I'm sorry. But anyways,
so that should be another interesting part too. I didn't really touch on that either.
Yeah,
but I'll have like beliefs. I don't know how I would go about doing that, but I do want to involve like not just my beliefs, but other people's beliefs and their religion.
You've been listening to EncounterE Podcast. Watch for our next episode. Thank you and goodbye.